It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Tuesday, the 21st of October. I'm Michael Groff. Another warm fall day ahead here in the valley. Temperatures just a little bit above seasonal averages, but we will see an increase in clouds tonight and tomorrow, and there could be a few showers over parts of Arizona. Could we see anything here in the valley? We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll look at the weather for the weekend and look way ahead down the road. What about that Halloween forecast? We've been talking about that for a while. All of that and more as we dive on in and discuss. First, let's check that almanac from yesterday. 89 degrees was the afternoon high here in Phoenix after a morning low of 63. 88 and 64 the averages for this time of year. As we look outside right now at 10:30 a.m., we've got sunny sky across the valley, 79 degrees at Sky Harbor. Dew points at 45, relative humidity 30%. The winds are light and the barometer is steady. Satellite picture out here across the southwest. A few high clouds are beginning to move into Arizona. We'll see some increase in clouds later today and tonight. There is an upper low that's spinning off of the Southern California and northern Baja coast. We've been talking about this feature for a while, and you can see it on satellite there, but it's not really much of a feature. Normally you see these upper lows, they've got a good amount of moisture associated with them, but not this one. It's just not tapping into much. So as this moves through, it won't have a lot of fanfare with it, but still, there's enough dynamic support and just enough moisture around for some widely scattered, very light showers that are possible over the region. Here's the watch warning map. We've got some wind advisories for parts of South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Northwest Illinois. A frost advisory further to the south from there over portions of Nebraska. Otherwise, across the country, things are relatively quiet. The convective outlook for today, a very low end, marginal risk of severe storms, level 1 out of 5 for places like Detroit, Toledo, Akron, Cleveland, Ohio. The tropics in the Atlantic Basin getting a little bit more interesting now. We have a brand new tropical storm on the board. That is Melissa. And this is an intensifying system, and it's also kind of an interesting one when we look at the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. The track on this, it's going to kind of meander around the central Caribbean, and that's very bad news for the island of Hispaniola, particularly for Haiti. They are going to get battered with increasing wind, rain, flooding. That's going to be a big problem there, as well as portions of Cuba, Jamaica, as this is not going to move very much between now and Saturday. And this is expected to intensify into a hurricane. Remember, we have not had any major tropical activity down here in the Caribbean. These waters are very warm, so despite the fact that this won't be moving much and there will be some upwelling, I still think this is going to continue to intensify into at least a Category 1 hurricane. Now, where it goes from there, still hard to say, but if it does have more interaction with these islands, that would weaken it. But still a very interesting system that we can't rule out impacting the United States at some point down the road, but we also can't say that it will. It's just something we're going to keep an eye on for now. In the East Pacific, we've got a tropical wave out here, a disturbance off of the Mexican coast, and that has a pretty high chance of developing over the next 7 days into a tropical depression or storm, but at this point, it does not look like it will have any impact on us here in the Southwest, as that should move west and out to sea. But of course, as always, we monitor the tropics out here in the East Pacific because, well, it's been that kind of a season, and it's been very active, too, in the East Pacific this year. All right, closer to home, this is the precipitation outlook courtesy of the WPC, and this is valid through Tuesday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, they show nothing. They don't show anything statewide, but I would argue that there is at least a low probability that we could see some very light precipitation here over the next 24 to 36 hours across the state, or at least portions of the state with this upper low coming through. And we're going to talk about that risk right now as we get to the models, have a look at things, see what the future may hold. Here we go. This is the GFS. It's the 12Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. The upper look at 500 millibars. That's about 18,000 feet up. Significant trough over there in the Great Lakes and for the east, and that's why we have a few strong thunderstorms expected over parts of Michigan and Ohio, and obviously cooler temperatures in association with that. Here's our ridge out here in the southwest. Those upper heights still around 588 plus decameters, and that means pretty hot temperatures for us with that upper low to the west. So down at the surface for the rest of the day today, We'll call it partly cloudy in Phoenix, scattered clouds across the state, especially central northern Arizona. A few clouds will drift by from time to time. High temperatures for us today, upper 80s, low 90s. That's a little bit above those seasonal averages. And generally speaking, statewide readings will be just a bit above average by anywhere from 2 to 8 degrees, depending on where you are. For tonight, some increase in clouds expected. And yes, a few showers are possible overnight across central and northern Arizona with this upper low coming on through. Overnight lows for us in Phoenix will be warmer with the clouds and some increase in moisture around, generally in the 60s to near 70. But let me show you. This is our HRRR, our high-resolution rapid refresh model. One of our high-resolution models. This is at 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. And this is the simulated radar product. And again, yeah, the radar might not look precisely like this, but this gives you an idea of how things may go. And yeah, it's got a few little showers here across central, southern Arizona. And look, the subcloud layer is going to be relatively dry. So most of this precipitation probably doesn't reach the ground. That said, we could still see a few raindrops late this evening, overnight tonight, tomorrow morning here in the valley and across parts of southern Arizona, and ultimately up into central and northern Arizona overnight and into the day tomorrow. But it's just not going to amount to a lot. I mean, maybe 1/200th of an inch at best. Most of you probably don't see anything, but this is something that I thought I would at least point out as a small possibility, again, later tonight and into at least the first part of the day tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, yeah, partly cloudy sky. We'll see decreasing clouds later in the afternoon. Again, despite the fact that that low is around, temperatures will still be on the mild side, on the warm side, highs upper 80s, low 90s. And then as that system exits the region, slightly cooler air will come in on Thursday as the heights are suppressed a bit. Highs back in the low 80s here in Phoenix. And again, the sky will be mostly sunny, the air mass drying out. Overnight lows will generally be in the 50s to about 60 degrees or so as we start the day on Friday, and then high temperatures will rebound back into the mid-80s, mid to upper 80s on Saturday. Look at that trough coming into the Pacific Northwest, another round of rain and snow and colder weather up there for this weekend. And that's going to continue into Sunday, but all of that is going to stay far away from us. The main storm track will stay north of Arizona. High temperatures will remain somewhere in the mid-80s, maybe upper 80s here in Phoenix. As we go to Monday, since that system will be passing by, we'll see, again, the heights come down a little bit. High temperatures will fall back into the low 80s or maybe mid-80s here in the warmest desert spots, generally upper 50s and 60s in the mountains. And the conditions should stay dry statewide. Here's a week from today. This is Tuesday, the 28th. Now that system is out over the plain states, and that could create some showers, thunderstorms, maybe a few strong storms to the south and east of that in the warm sector. High pressure is building in for us, and so we will continue with dry conditions and a bit of a warming trend with highs getting well back into the 80s, maybe upper 80s at this point. This is Wednesday, the 29th. And again, the upper heights continue to be a little bit above average, so temperatures would be a little bit above average. Again, mid-80s, upper 80s. Now, remember, we're out here at the end of October, and typically we're in the low to mid-80s this time of year in Phoenix. This is the end of the forecast period, Thursday the 30th, and now the flow is turning zonal here, and so temperatures would relax a bit, highs back toward the low 80s, maybe mid-80s for the warmest desert spots, and conditions would remain dry, maybe just a few passing clouds. And so even though it's not in this forecast scope, I would say Halloween is likely to be seeing temperatures at or just a little bit above seasonal averages. Nothing record-breaking, nothing earth-shattering. By the time you go out doing the trick-or-treating, temperatures would be about pretty close to what you'd expect this time of year, 70s to near 80 degrees. By the time you wrap up the trick-or-treating, it's probably in the, depending on where you are in the valley, upper 60s to low 70s or so. And again, with that dry air. All right, let's take a look at precipitation for Phoenix. This continues to go out through the 4th of November. This is off the GFS ensemble. You got a number of members that show some very light precipitation, but the ensemble mean is practically nothing here. Just a couple of hundreds, few hundredths of an inch. European ensemble, 51 members. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 have any measurable rain for us over the next 15 days. European AI ensemble, not much better. The ensemble mean is, for all intents and purposes, basically nothing. Temperatures off the national blend of models above average today, tomorrow a little bit cooler on Thursday, and then highs will be somewhere at or just a little bit above where they ought to be for this time of year for the rest of the forecast period. All right, let's take a look at the Climate Prediction Center outlook, the CPC outlook for the 8 to 14 day period. This is October the 28th through the 3rd of November. And if that works out, temperatures are slated to be above average. A high probability we'll see above average temperatures here in the Southwest. Precipitation, on the other hand, the probability is skewed toward near average precipitation here, maybe just a little bit below average for parts of Southeast Arizona. And that is going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, then be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really enjoy what we do here and you want to support the channel, then be sure to click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make a contribution to us that way, or via PayPal, groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal, or our Venmo, which is also linked up down in the description. And Annette Wolf took advantage of that yesterday and donated to us. So thank you, Annette. Really do appreciate it. All of that helps us out here in the channel. And so again, all of that, all the ways to support this channel linked up down below. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, Kylie related, Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description below, so check that out. Also, check out our streaming station. That's available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music, have a lot of fun over there. So again, want you to give that a listen and check out Dan over at the Courtroom Files YouTube channel, The Courtroom Files on YouTube, or courtroomfiles.com for all your Courtroom Files merch. Dan runs a great channel over there, a wonderful community, and yes, I'm a part of that community and part of a show that you'll see tonight, 8 p.m. East, 5 p.m. Pacific, and Arizona time over there on the Courtroom Files YouTube channel. It's called Sidebar. Check that out. All right, all of that having been said, thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. It is amazing. It is so greatly appreciated. We could not do this without you guys. Really do appreciate it. Thank you once again. Be safe. Stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and have yourselves a beautiful rest of your Tuesday.